I've never been a fan of general self-help. I know that this sort of material resonates with a lot of people, and I'm sure it's helped many people. But for me, what I would consider the more mainstream self-help books, the mainstream self-help gurus, they've always come across a little wishy-washy to me. They've always come across like their measures aren't severe enough to solve any of the problems or get me to any of the goals I had in my life. And it was sort of that feeling that made it easy for me to bounce around several different communities and ideas in the early stages of me trying to figure out my life and trying to figure out like what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be, and how I was going to get there. So I was bouncing around from different gurus, different people who wrote different things that resonated with me, and then within 3 weeks, I had put nothing into action, nothing had really changed. And eventually, I found what I'm going to term the hardcore self improvement community. And that is the general term I use for several forums I've been involved in, and more of a catch all term for what I consider to be the stuff that I think works really well, but is also kind of a nuclear option that you have to commit to and go very hardcore with. That's why I call it the hardcore self improvement community. Before I go any further, though, I go by Radical online, and I am a men's image and style consultant. If you've ever felt that that's an area of your game that you're lacking in, you'll find links to my services below. I offer a free guide for anyone who signs up, and that will get you started if you have no idea how to dress or present yourself. So let's get into what I define as like hardcore self-improvement. I've realized there are like two overarching things that this has to have, like the community or the guru in question has to have for me to term it as hardcore self-improvement. Number one is the prioritization of action over basically anything else, including the sanctity of the theory involved. And number two is generally a penchant towards more out of the box or extreme ideas, or at least extreme commitment to seeing these things through. Those are kind of the two things that I see the most from what I consider hardcore self improvement communities. I've got some good examples of like when I was first getting into this sort of stuff. The first thing I ever did that kind of falls into this was when I joined the Good Looking Loser forums and I found out about 30 Days of Discipline by Victor Pride. And that was the first like thing I ever did in self improvement where I actually, wrote down a plan and like stuck to something I said I was going to do. I didn't miss any of the rules. I didn't miss any of the days. I stuck to the 30 days of discipline. It's like I did a review, like one of the first videos I ever did on this channel. A review of like, it's basically you have 10 rules and it's over 30 days, you will not break any of the rules. And they're things like waking up at 5 a.m., having cold showers only, working out every day. It's like a load of things. It's kind of intended to be a boot camp for you, but you have to, administer discipline in your own life. It's not like a boot camp in the military where you have a drill sergeant like yelling at you. It's up to you and you only. You are responsible to yourself for going through it. That's the whole point of this like discipline. The whole goal is to gain a level of discipline. So that was my first ever thing. Then I tried the Approach Anxiety program from Good Looking Loser. That's another good example of something that's more extreme and requires a heavy amount of commitment, and it's all action. The whole point of these kind of things is they are action plans. Like you're going to do this on this day and you're going to do it and it's going to be good for you and it's going to get you closer to your goal. And that became the overarching theme. Like I was looking for places where men, because these are men's self-improvement forums, where men took action. And you can see that in like some of the more hardcore like bodybuilding forums where guys are like posting like their year-long commitment to the gym and how they haven't skipped on their diet in months. It's about extreme commitment, you see, and it's about having these very easy to follow steps that everyone can lay out. Like someone has just basically broken down what they did to get successful, given you all of the action steps, and then you have to show commitment. And when I see like commitment, I mean like some of the guys I know have like basically given up their lives for certain goals. So for example, like dating's a big one, like guys who want to sort out their dating lives will quit their jobs or find a way to take a break from work and they will focus on nothing else but going on dates, gaining these skills, getting dates in the first place, like sourcing leads, sourcing dates, and then learning what they do on dates to progress it further. And that's like a whole journey some guys go through because they never had that skill naturally and they had to learn it. And the guys I see succeed the most will literally drop everything else because they know they need to succeed in that area of their life. And then that sets them up for things like business building, which if you're going to build your own business, like that in its own self is just 100% commitment necessary. Like you basically need at least 75% of your waking hours and energy going towards building your business. Like there's no other way you're going to get off the ground. So action and commitment, and 2, out of the box, like slightly out of the box extreme ideas. And like the extreme ideas is more like the exposure therapy, the approach anxiety program. That is kind of a weird thing to do. A lot of guys in bodybuilding end up getting into using just steroids and stuff like that. I personally haven't gone down that route, but you see it quite commonly in guys who have these extreme goals and they're willing to go to quite extreme lengths to meet them. So this is generally, you're going to meet more people who are willing to do more extreme stuff in these communities to actually get what they want, which is why it's kind of admirable in some regards. I remember like Chris from Good Looking Loser used to have a thing on his banner saying nothing in moderation or something like that. That was like his banner. And he said you've got to be very hardcore, very extreme to achieve anything. And I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe if you stick with like the self-help, which is more gentle, you're going to take 10 years to get to a goal that you could have got to in 6 months. Because it's not expecting much of you. It's more of a general, they're trying to like sell their ideas to a more general audience to get as many people involved as possible. I guess over like 100,000 people or so, those like 1 to 5% increases in happiness and productivity in their lives actually equates to quite a good level of increase in the world in general. But like if you're personally are not satisfied with that level of improvement, then you need to find these more hardcore communities where guys will make you stick to your word. You'll be accountable to them. You'll be accountable to that standard of effort. The amount of effort you think you need is not enough. So if you come away with anything from this video, understand you need to be putting in more effort than you are now if you're not happy with your results. You can always try harder to crush your goals. All right, guys. Peace out.